Hello students, welcome everyone. Today we are going to see one topic of cybersecurity module 1, that is OSI model. OSI stand for Open System Interconnection Model. OSI model consists of 7 layers. Seventh layer is application layer, in which different application layer protocols are working. You might be seeing here DNS, HTTP, P2P, email, SMTP, Telnet, FTP. We are going to see in detail. Then presentation layer. Presentation layer consists of recognizing data, HTML, doc, JPG, MP3, and socket. Then internet session layer, session management, TCP. Then transport layer. Then network layer. Then physical layer, data link layer, and physical layer. So, need of OSI model. Remember that OSI model explain how two computers can communicate with each other in a network. Suppose in a network, this computer is of Windows and another computer is of network Linux, but still they can communicate with each other because due to OSI model. OSI tells how to do, but it doesn't implement the protocol. It only tells what to do. It doesn't tells how to do. Okay, how to do is told by the TCP/IP model, TCP/IP protocol. So one computer is of Mac OS, another computer is of Linux, one computer is of Windows, another computer is of Linux or Mac OS. Every computer in the network can communicate successfully with the help of OSI model. You might be knowing a live example I will give. Just like an Indian man want to communicate with Japanese person, so in that case, Indian man can talk in English language, but Japanese man can talk in Japanese language, but still they can communicate with each other because there is one mediator in between them. In same manner, the OSI model protocol helps the two computers communicate with each other. In order for successful communication between computers in a network with different architecture, 7-layer OSI model is used. Note that each layer package is of protocols. Now, first of all, we will see the application layer. Application layer protocol consists of HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, versus HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol secured. Then next is File Transfer Protocol, FTP, NFS, Network File System, Simple Network Management Protocol, Telnet. So we will see network application means computer application that use internet like Google Chrome, Firefox, browser in a network application running in your PC. It does not reside in application layer. Remember that while accessing internet, you require browser. So unless and until you are having a browser on your system computer, you cannot connect to the internet. So Google Chrome, Firefox, these browsers are there. It does not reside in the application layer. This browser does not reside in the application layer, but it uses application layer protocol like HTTP or HTTPS to do the web surfing. Now I will tell the simple difference between HTTP versus HTTPS. HTTP in the sense, when you are getting connected to the internet, first statement you type that http://www.google.com, and then you can get idea that you are getting connected to the internet, and you start with google.com. That means the first statement written is HTTP. That means the reason is that HTTP or HTTPS. The reason is that because you want to get connected to the internet server, so client and you are the client, so the communication between client and server is possible due to HTTP protocol. Remember that. And HTTP protocol is a stateless protocol. Stateless protocol in the sense, sometimes you surf on the internet how to install Windows on the machine, or how to install Windows 9, Windows 10, Windows 12 on the server. So you surf on the net, or you something your notes like what is DNA, you search on the net, or what is What is computer network? You search on the net. So that means everyone is searching on the net. Everyone is searching on the net for different things they want to know. That means there HTTP protocol is used. Means hypertext transfer protocol is not secured. Everyone is using hypertext transfer protocol, and everyone can access in shared manner hypertext transfer protocol, because google.com site is open to all. But if you are accessing Gmail, you want privacy, because your Gmail should not be accessed by anybody else. So in that case, we use HTTPS. If you are accessing Gmail, in that case, we use HTTPS. And if you are accessing normal searching and that thing, then you can use HTTP protocol. You might have noticed that some website have HTTP protocol status, means site is not secured. Our university website is also not secured, that is HTTP protocol. And our banking site like HDFC, Axis Bank, SBI Bank, online transaction, these sites are very secured. That's why they comes under HTTPS protocol. Okay. So that is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS. When you want to search securely, then we have to use HTTPS protocol. And when you want to search for study purpose and not important things, in that case, we can use HTTP protocol. So surfing can be done using HTTP protocol also and HTTPS protocol also. But HTTPS protocol is secured as compared to HTTP protocol. Not only browser, but whole network application include Google Chrome, Firefox. These are the dozens of application layer protocol. These are not in the application layer, but these are application layer protocol, HTTP and HTTPS. Now, simple network management protocol. No, we will see file transfer protocol. File transfer protocol is in the sense, suppose I want to download file from the server. Suppose on the internet, I want to download file from the server to my PC or to my laptop or to my smartphone. Like different application you download from the on the internet from the smartphone. In that case, you require access. So that is possible due to file transfer protocol. File transfer protocol allows you to download different files, means up to 10 GB, up to 3 GB, up to 4 GB. It will take some time, but it allows. And there is also a technique called checksum. Checksum in the sense, if I am downloading files of 50 GB, 50 MB, and after downloading 25 MB file, my power is gone. So I will not download when power will come. I will not download from 1 MB. I will download after 25 MB. So that is convenient in case of file transfer protocol in application layer. So that is the purpose of file transfer protocol. That means you can upload file to the server also. You can upload file to the server also, or you can download file to the server also. So that is the purpose of application, the file transfer protocol in application layer. Dynamic host configuration protocol is also part of application layer protocol. Now suppose our hardware engineer, what it do? Our hardware engineer, if there are 30 machines in the network, what he will do? He will install Linux on server, and he will configure 30 machines. That one number is given to this machine, 2 number is given to 192.168, 1.3 is given to this machine, 192.168.1.4 number is given to this machine. And suppose these numbers are given, fine. But suppose any problem arises in the lab. So in that case, we need to remember that what is the IP address of that system. If any problem arises in the lab, while installing, while configuring the server, I have given some numbers to the machine IP address, because on the internet, in the network, machine is identified with the help of IP address, not by your name. Okay, you are identified by your roll number first. So machine are identified with the help of IP address. So IP address is given to each and every machine in a network. And suppose that machine create problem. So that hardware engineer should know what IP address you are given to machine. If it doesn't know that what IP address is given to machine, then it becomes a problematic. Then it may happen that two system may have same IP address. But that was the case in static host configuration. Now we are going to see dynamic host configuration protocol. In that case, suppose one machine gets connected, suppose there is a server and one student came and he switch on the one system, another student came, he switch on the another system. So in that case, one system start, so at the time of starting, it get connected to the server, and server will assign one IP address to that machine. Again another machine start, then again another machine request to the server that I want IP address, then server gives another IP address to system. That is called dynamic host configuration protocol. In that case, the hardware engineer doesn't have to remember the IP address of the machine. You can get directly connected to the network, and IP address will be given to the client machine runtime. So that is what dynamic host configuration protocol. Here you are watching that this IP address is given to the machine that has been started, and this machine has been starting, and still IP address is not assigned, and it requests that address please. So in that case, dynamic host configuration protocol use IP address to that machine. Okay. So that is the way dynamic host configuration protocol works. So in dynamic host configuration protocol, IP address is given to the system at the runtime when the system start, when the system is on in the network. Telnet. For Telnet, I will give one program. I will tell you one program of Telnet. So this is the site which is not secured. We will see one Telnet program. We will try this command. Now we will see. Yes, it is connecting to the different server using not GUI, using the terminal. That's why I'm showing you. I'm connecting to the different system using terminal, not the GUI. Okay. Now it will be getting connected to the terminal. If possible, that the terminal is busy or network configure network traffic is too much. So in that case, it is not possible. Okay, connection timeout because connection is lost. We will see this if it is possible. Now it is trying to connect to the internet with different IP address. If that machine is busy or if that machine is not busy, then it will allow. If that machine is busy, then it will not allow. Network is unreachable, it is telling. So telnet means you are connecting to the remote terminal with the help of text rather than GUI. Rather than GUI. We'll try this technique. Now we will try this. Connecting to the remote terminal, not using GUI but using command line. Now it is connecting to the telnet. If the system is having firewall, it may block the connectivity. It is showing 5283123. It is different IP address because our system is having different IP. Connection timeout. Okay. Then we will try this LAT technique. Two 2001. Okay, connection is refused. That means it's not aligned. So telnet means simply telnet means to connect to the different computers on the internet, with the help of terminal, not by the GUI. That is the meaning of telnet. Here we are going to see application layer protocol. NFS. NFS in the sense excellent, simple, robust, high performance distributed service. Now in our BCS lab, there is one server and there are different clients. So students are accessing the server through login, username and password. When they log in, when the students log in, they can access the server. What does it mean? That means everyone login data is stored on the server. Unless and until they log in, they cannot access their data. But simply home directory of the server is shared. Home directory of server is shared. What does it mean? Home directory of server is shared in the sense the home directory is visible to all, because in home directory the user the number of users in the server are kept. Means different, if 50 students are there, then 50 logins will be there in the home directory. If 100 students are there, 100 students login will be there in home directory, and that home directory is shared. That home directory is shared. That is nothing but the example of network file system, hardware and software, and heterogeneity. Heterogeneity in the sense, in lab, our client machine are of Fedora, but our server is of Red Hat. Our server is of Red Hat. So that is the purpose of network file system, and it is very secured. Why it is secured? Because one student cannot access the login of another student cannot access the login of another. So simple network management protocol in the application layer protocol. Now consider if in BCS lab there are 10 machines, so it is very comfortable for hardware engineer to troubleshoot the 10 machine if any problem arises. But consider if there are 500 machines in different lab, and there is only one system administrator who need to handle the machines of 500 machines in the lab. So in that case, the network administrator could not be able to identify that which machine is having problem due to which part. Okay, so in that case, which uses UDP protocol port number to monitor the network, SMTP, simple network management protocol, which uses the UDP port number, user datagram protocol, to monitor the network, detect the fault, and sometimes even to configure the remote devices. That means, just I told you, remember one thing, that in broad network, means network is very large, and two computers, the different 500 computers are working, and some computer may create problem. In that case, so we can manage the network. We can manage the network with the help of simple network management protocol, because we can do it easily. It is a software module installed on managed device. Managed device can be PC, router, switcher, etc. These protocol form the basic for various network services like FTP, web surfing like HTTP or HTTPS, which we have seen just now, email, simple network management protocol, and virtual terminal. Virtual terminal we have seen like Telnet. File transfer protocol is run with file transfer protocol. Web surfing, HTTP versus HTTPS, email. So application layer provide application layer provides services for network application with the help of protocol performing user activity. Thank you.